All right, let me show you the step-by-step process to finding a land market, okay? Because I think a lot of people, it's like this ethereal, very overcomplicated thing. With what I'm about to show you in this video, you can do this in like 15 minutes. It does not take that long. Okay, the very first thing is we need to pick a state. I will tell you straight up, best states to work in are places in the Midwest and the Southeast. Avoid the Northeast. I don't like the Southwest because the land just intrinsically, it's not as valuable. There's like a lot of desert squares, stuff like that. The Northeast, I just don't like because of the laws, restrictions, like in New York State, stuff like that. Places that are great: Alabama, Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina, right? Tennessee, Illinois, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, places like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick Alabama. All right, just for the sake of this, I'm going to show you what I do. The very first thing, I'm pretending I know nothing about this. This is what you need to do. So you're going to go map of counties in Alabama. All right, I'm going to look at this. Listen, you don't need to overcomplicate this. Like, you don't need to get into demographic data of how many people are moving there and builders and all that stuff. Listen, if you're flipping vacant land, all I care about is how fast is land selling in that area. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the home builders, none of that. I'm literally going to find a county that fits what I'm about to describe in a second, and then I'm going to find how fast is that land selling in that area, and then if it's in under 90 days, I'm going to pick it, okay? Now, when we look at this, what you want to do is you want to find the major city in the area, okay, well, in the state, and then look about 1 to 3 hours outside, okay? The reason I say that is because the major cities, they're going to be very hot, meaning like there's going to be a lot of competition in there. And you're going to compete with people who are either doing it longer or competing against, major home builders, stuff like that you just don't want to compete with, okay? So let's say Birmingham. Obviously, Birmingham is probably one of the biggest places in Alabama. When I say 1 to 3 hours outside, I'm basically going to imagine a ring around it and look at some other counties, right? So let's see. Okay, Bibb touches it. That might be going to look into. Let's see. I could look into Talladega, Fayette, Walker. Let's see. Let's try Bibb. Let's see what Bibb looks like. Okay. Bibb County. All right. Now I'm going to give you a few pro tips. Okay. Listen, you can look at land at any size. Generally, you want to find stuff that's going to be selling for around 20 to around 60,000, meaning it was actually sold at that price range because the sellers are easier to deal with. It takes less mail to get a deal. You can go higher than that, but just understand all your stats are going to increase, right? You're going to deal with people who have less of a need to sell, which means you're going to have to send out more marketing. It's a little more expensive. And yes, you can absolutely make more money, but just keep that in mind. So typically, I always look at like 5, 10 acres, sometimes 10 to 20. When you're first getting started in an area, that's what I recommend. Instead of doing like infill lots and stuff like that, you can do infill lots, but there's more due diligence. So if like you're new, I'd recommend doing what I just described. Okay. First thing I do is I'm going to go to sold last year, and then I'm going to toggle on for land. And then, like I said, I want to look at the 5 to 10 acre range. Okay. All right. So I'm going to see what's sold. Now I'm looking at the prices: 25, 60, 80, 80, 150, 95, 50. That's about what I just said, right? It's a little bit higher, but that'll work, okay? Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to see how fast did these things sell for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit download all, okay? I'm going to go open up a Google Sheet. I'm going to go file, import, upload, place current sheet, all right? And I'm going to rearrange this sheet. Second. All right. So it's got the sold date. I'm going to insert a column. I'm going to say for sale date. Okay. And I want to figure out when these things sold. So all I need to do is I'm going to click on this. Just as a side note, like, yes, this does take some time to manually do. And this is one of the things that we worked on, in our program, the land flipping system. I actually have an entire data team that is literally scrubbing the entire country every single month. So like we just have this data on hand. We're like, we don't need to do anything manually. It just tells us every month what the counties are. So if that's something that you're interested in, there should be a link below where you can speak to our team, see if, we're a good fit to help you out. If not, I'm going to show you what to do manually, just something else that's a little bit, nice to have that substantially speeds up the process, but totally optional. All right, so let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and let's see. Okay, let's set a March 2nd. So that would be what, 3/2? Yeah. Let's go 3/2/24. Okay. I'm also going to put a column in here where it's going to say DOM. That means days on market. And I'm going to put a formula. It goes sold date minus for sale date. Okay. Do that. Now, I'm going to keep going. Okay, let's see what this one is. Okay, listed on, you put the listed date, okay? That's what you want to do. So 11024. All right. Now, this is not coming out as numbers, so I'm going to go number. Okay, there it's going. All right, now I'm going to go this. Okay, and I always go for the most recent one. So like, I'm not going to go for that 2019 because these are two different transactions. I'm going to go on this one. So July 17th, 24. July 19th. Take this one. All right. Okay, 12/13/23. All right, let's see this one. 1/25/24. All right. Okay, 1/23/24. Oh. All right. This is a pretty fast market, as you'll see in a second. Okay. And then we got this. So I'm going to use the listed date always, not the relisted. So April, so what's that? 4/4/23. Okay, that one's hold longer. And then I'm going to go equals median. I'm going to take the median of these. The reason I don't take average is median is a more pure statistic, right? The average can get skewed if you have an outlier in one direction or the other. That's why I use this, okay? Now it's done. Days on market, okay? 57 days, right? So it would be a reasonable assumption that if we enter into this market, our land would sell in under 9 days, closer to 57, right? Now, there's other statistics you can look into, like things like the sell-through rate, basically of the current inventory, how much sells in a given period. To be frank, the thing that I found is like really the highest priority statistic. Sell-through rates are, I'm not saying that they're not important, they are, but this is really the most important is the days on market, okay? I've identified that this is a fast-moving market that I'd like to target, right? And the other thing is the price. I told you, you want to look for stuff that's selling for around 20 to around 60, okay? This is roughly around there, so I would hit it, right? This is the process of finding a market. Now, the cool thing is this, is that when it comes to these markets, right? If you're trying to expand, okay, so I just showed you one, right? Well, what a lot of people do when they're first starting out is they're like, well, let's go check out North Carolina now. It's like, well, no, if you just found a good one, the easiest way to find more good ones is to look at the adjacent ones, right? So if we go to this map right here, if Bibb was good, why not look at Chilton or Perry or Tuscaloosa or Shelby or Hale, right? When you do that, it makes it easier to expand out, right? And then you have an idea of what the entire area looks like. What you're going to notice when you flip land, and this is super important, is that some places you're going to get higher response than others. And you don't know until you've done it, right? Obviously, like I said, we have a database of every county in the country that, our students are working in. So like we know the counties where people are getting the highest response rates. That's why we can just like plug our clients into those counties. But when you're first starting, you have to find that out, right? You just don't know until you send the mail out. What you're going to notice is there's going to be some counties that just hit a lot more, right? And then when you find those counties, you want to double down and remail them, hit them again, okay? But you're going to give yourself the best shot when you do what I just showed you, which is finding areas that move quickly. Because like what you wouldn't want is, let's say you find an area where everyone's raising their hand, they want to sell land, right? But land is selling in freaking 300 days there, right? Maybe everyone's raised their hand, wanting to sell it because they can't get it sold. You know what I mean? That's why you do this first. When you find a market and you see how fast it's moving and you make sure you're targeting a market where it's moving quickly, this is how you prevent yourself from getting crappy deals that will take a super long time to sell. Okay, it's like the most important thing. I hope that helps. See you in the next one.